Hello, everyone. We're live, still getting ready. Hey, Joelle. I like your hair.
Hello. Thanks.
Your headset goes with your hair, kind of that whole pastel look.
Yeah, that may or may not be intentional.
Okay, let's see. They voted on the new Power Apps modern controls. It's going to be another one of those things. I'm not sure if it's going to take a whole hour. So it's pretty interesting though. Let's see. Just playing around with how some of this works. Just got everything ready. How's everybody doing? Trying to get this. I have like a demo that I built ahead of time to show like what the end result is supposed to look like, and then I have, so I'm trying to get it to kind of look good like the last minute here. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and tweet this. Spring weather is here, like just like the email title said. Let's go ride our bikes. So I'm sitting here in the basement in the dark. It's a beautiful day outside. Oh, did I tell you we have an app now? For all our training, people can watch our training on the go. It's pretty exciting. If you are watching this right now and you are one of our students, I posted about it in the forum. So when you go to your My Dashboard, there's a link there to get to the forum. Because it's a beta, so I didn't want to just like blast it out to everyone. So I just posted a link to see if anyone wants to try it, and I have no way of knowing if anyone's has tried it yet. All right, I think we're live. Let me double check. It still says upcoming. It explains it.
Uh-oh. Let me check. That's why it's so quiet.
Yeah. Awesome. Now I did just have to install a new version of vMix.
vMix.
So it could have. That's awesome.
Oh, by the way,
No,
you look very
it
nice
says we're
today.
live. What?
I said you look very nice today.
Oh, thank you. It says we're live though now. So
Oh, it
maybe
does.
it's just the delay was that long.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. Or maybe just my browser was not refreshing to show me that little live icon. Okay, so I think we're good. Y'all say hello. Has anybody tried out that new? Did you get a thing saying try the new Teams on your computer, Joelle?
Not yet.
Okay. I got a little pop-up saying to try it, and I installed it, and then it kept crashing. So
Yeah.
okay. I think I got everything all situated. This was a pretty easy one. So and Microsoft has a little bit of documentation about these, but they're brand new. So there's like the documentation page that I put in the link in the resources just basically says, here's how to enable the modern controls. And here's the list of all of them. Here's like a screenshot of what they'll look like. That's about it. So yeah, they're pretty cool. I've been trying them out all morning, so pretty slick. Okay. Close that. Oh, hey. All right, cool. Hey, Todd. Roll call. I think we got usually we spend the first 15 minutes or so like just making sure everything's functioning and the AV and the setup. And, but today everything seems like it's working. So knock on wood. Now we've had days where as soon as we went live, something went as soon as like 11 o'clock hit, something went wrong. but it looks like it's going to be okay this time. Okay, Power Apps Modern Controls. We have MVP Summit going on this week, and I'm just virtually attending it. And so I stepped out of virtual sessions just for an hour for this. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's exciting. Always exciting. Virtually seeing, some people are there in person, so it's a hybrid. So in the virtual sessions, when they show the audience, I can see my MVP friends there. And I don't know if they can see in Teams. I don't know if they can see other people that are remotely attending, but it's good. It's good to have that option. AI is pretty exciting with that whole Copilot thing they announced recently. So, have you been trying out Chat GPT, Joelle?
Oh yeah.
Oh really? Can you give us an example of something you did that was interesting?
What did I just do recently? I was looking up I was writing. This is a personal life thing, but I was writing a bio for this online community I joined. And I just like plugged in like some stuff about myself, like real quickly, like she likes this and this and this, and she's a mom and blah blah blah, and it like spit out this like amazing bio.
Oh, I need to do that.
And then I was able to like just tweak it a little bit and use that. So yeah.
Have you used Jasper? Did you use Jasper for that or Chat GPT?
I use Chat GPT for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I know Jasper's like a cost, right?
Well, you have a login for it like I purchased it, so you have a login. So I was curious if.
Oh yeah. But I wouldn't do that for personal things.
It's okay. I'm not trying to fuss at you. That's hilarious.
I know.
To catch you. Aha.
You got me.
It's true. It does have it has all these little, like, very specific things you can select from. And it also has, you'll probably be able to see it in my demo. It's got a browser plugin, so you'll be able to see like a little icon. Anyway, all right, I better get started. Let's see. Okay. A little pre-show sign off. We could just chat about AI, and you can get it to write poems and stuff. That's fun. We should do that at the end. I'm going to try to help me remember, write a poem about Power Hour.
You can actually ask it to write like a script for Power Hour. I saw somebody do a script for one of their own videos. They're a vlogger and they made a script for their vlog.
We had it write a PowerShell script the other day. Remember, during office hours?
Yeah.
That was fun. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. Ready? Smile. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Power Hour. Today's topic is the Power App's new modern controls. So this is a new setting that you can enable to have these new modern controls. It's brand new. It's sort of an extra that you have to go out of your way to enable, but we're going to do demos of all of them, what they look like, and some cool little functionality that they have. So let's do the stinger. All right, so again, I'm Laura Rogers, and this is Joelle Jobson. And this is a show we do Wednesdays. We've been doing this for about 10 years. And we just do demos of things in Microsoft 365. It used to be SharePoint Power Hour, and now it's just everything Microsoft 365. The audience hasn't changed, though. The audience is mainly power users, business users, not programmers. We don't do anything super hardcore admin, so you don't need to know any programming languages to be able to do the things that we're teaching. So that's our favorite sort of audience of people, is those power users. So we send out a newsletter the day before, and you all vote on what the topic is going to be. And you all voted for the Power App's modern controls this time. And if you've never joined before, we have a chat going on in Teams. So wherever you are watching this, there's going to be a link at the bottom to request to join. And then we invite you into Teams. And then that's where all of our chat is going on. So we have a lively chat where we have questions about the demo and just have a good time. So let me go ahead and I'll share my screen, and then we can start doing our demo. Okay, so first of all, before we get into the demo, I'll just show you real quick how to get into the chat. So when you get invited and you go into Teams and you switch over to our tenant, it's IW Mentor Power Hour. You'll have to switch to the tenant from yours, and then you are going to be in this Power Hour team. And then you go to the general channel, and there is a tab for each week that we do here in the general channel. So this is today's, and you can push play and watch the video, and also you can pop out this little chat. So here's everyone chatting, and then you can watch the video and chat at the same time. So hey, everybody. All right, I'll minimize this and get it back over here. And it's good to see you all here. Awesome. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you like my earrings, Lisa. Y'all are awesome. Okay. So this is a form that I created, and I manually added a bunch of these new modern controls to it, just to show you what we'll be going through before we start, kind of doing each one manually. So this is we have a text box, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see that it looks a little different because it's gray and it's got this little line underneath it. This is a drop down box. This is a date picker. So you can tell that they all just look slightly different, kind of, just a little more modern look to them. And here's another drop down. I've got this text box that I'm using for these numbers. And then this is the radio controls. That's new also. And then here's another text box down here behind my head. And then also down here is a progress bar. So what I did was I made this to be based on the hours used versus hours planned. So as I change this, you can see that the bar is going to change. Pretty cool. And it even kind of did it in an animated way. It kind of went whoop. And then this other one is an information button. Isn't that neat? Look at that. So you can make it say whatever you want to say, and it just will pop up and then go away. And so they all have different settings that I'll go over, and I'll show you what they all are. I didn't use every single one on here. There are still a couple more, but tell me what you think, and we will just kind of methodically go through these. So first of all, to enable to have the modern controls, I just go to settings here, and I go to upcoming features and just type modern here in the little search box. And then you can click try out the modern controls, and you just turn it on. And a lot of times with these settings, you have to turn it on and then close Power Apps and go back in. Well, these pretty much immediately appear once you turn this on. So you turn it on, you close this, and then when you go to this plus button to add things, you'll see modern controls here down here behind my head. So there, that didn't work out as I planned, did it? So there are all the modern controls. You can see them all listed here. So we have badge, button, checkbox, date picker, drop down, info button, link, progress bar, radio button, spinner, tab list, text, and text input. So, and you can see that I've used a few of these in here, and I'll show you. Now, when you add a form control to, even if it's a brand new Power App and you add a form control to it, it's not going to have these modern controls yet. I anticipate that hopefully once these are, not experimental anymore, and they roll them out, they'll be part of your form controls, but I had to manually add all these to this form. So I'll show you the process of doing that, how you can manually change all of your controls to be these modern controls, but they're not going to be anywhere by default. So what I did was, let's go ahead and I'll just do a brand new screen. And actually I'm going to copy this screen just so I can have like some of this extra stuff I have at the top. My test project form, I'll go ahead and duplicate it, and then I'll just recreate the form control itself so you can see that process. Now I'm not going to do every single control as I go through this. I'm just going to do a couple of them so you can get the idea. So here is, you can see a few of these that I didn't have in the form control. They're giving me errors now, which is fine. And there's another one, the hyperlink, that I forgot to show you that I created here. Okay, we'll go over all those. So here is just a new blank screen, and I'll go ahead and add a new form to it. So I'll just click edit form, and then it's asking me for what my data source is, and that's just going to be my list of projects, and that's just a SharePoint list. And this is an app that I've used in a lot of just different demos in Power Hour. And Joelle, just let me know if anybody's got any, just interrupt me if anybody's got any interesting questions we should go over. All right, so there is, that's a little weird the way it looks here. Let's see, sometimes when you change this number of columns back and forth, it kind of straightens itself out. Okay, so here's my form, just default, just added it to the screen. I'll show you what it looks like to take this text box in the project name and make it be the new modern text box. So the first thing I have to do is unlock the card. And then I'm going to go to this list of all these modern controls, and text box, the text input is the very last thing down there. So I click and it adds it. So you have to be sure that you unlock the card and your cursor is inside the card when you do that, so that it puts it inside of the card. If it's not inside the card, when you start scrolling, I didn't create a new form control yet. When you start scrolling up and down, it doesn't stay inside the form. You'll be able to tell. Okay, so what I need to do is, there are a bunch of properties that exist for this text box to make it function, to make it work, to make it save the data to SharePoint. So there are a few different things that I need to know about it. So it's usually a good idea to insert the new one first, and then get kind of the properties you need off the other one just to make sure that it works correctly. And then you can delete the other one. Okay, so I've got, what I've got to do with this new one is it needs to have whatever the, kind of look at a lot of the properties of the other one, like its width is the parent width minus 60. So I can go to my new little text box and go to the width, and instead of 320, I can change it to parent.width minus 60. I wish that Power Apps had a copy and paste properties. That would be huge. If you could just right click on a control and say copy properties and then paste properties to some other control, that would be very helpful in this ordeal that we're doing right here. Okay. And then, so here's my new text box, and then here's my my data card value 12 is the old one. So that's got a lot of features that you're going to need to know before you delete it. But once you delete it, you'll also have a few errors that appear that will kind of let you know what you're still missing. And depending on the different types of controls, you're going to have different settings. So especially something like a drop-down box, you're going to need to copy what the items property has in it, so you'll know, so you can be able to just have the same list of items in your new drop-down box. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this, and you'll see the errors that pop up. So I'll give this new one a new name, TXT project name. Oh, that's already taken. Let me see. TXT project name box there. I'll just copy that. Okay, and so I gave it a new name because these little X's, these little errors that I'm getting, it's because it's referencing the old text box. Now this one is just the location of something, the little error box that might appear when somebody tries to submit a form and it doesn't have required fields. So you can't even see the little error box, but it was relying on the location of that text box. So I just replaced the old error name of the old box with the new name of the text box, and now the errors went away. So now I've got one more error, and this update property is very important. You can't see it because it's behind Joelle's head, but it's the property called update. And it tells it what data to send to SharePoint when you submit the form. So you definitely need to have the new name of your new control in there. So I'll just paste that because I had copied it. Now, one thing I've noticed about all these controls is this dot value. So all of the new controls use a dot value. So the old controls, if it's a text box and you're referencing the text that's typed in it, it's the name of the control dot text. If it's a date picker, it's the name of the date control dot selected date. And if it's a drop down, so they're all different. But these new controls, I've noticed that they all just use the dot value. So they've simplified that, which is very helpful. So then you'll just be able to reference dot value and know that that's going to be the value that someone has entered in that box. Another important property that you need to put on your new control that you've put in here is the display mode. Instead of, you don't want it to always be an edit. You want it to have whatever the parent display mode is. So if someone goes to an edit form, you want it to be edit, but if someone sends a view form command, you want it to be a view form, and you don't want it to always be in it. So just put parent.display mode. And then let's see, I think those are all the ones that, oh, the default property, let's see. Default needs to know, it needs to know so if you're opening an existing form, it needs to say the text that was the project name of the project you clicked on. You don't want it to be empty, and you want it to know what data to display there. So like this one, I'll show you this other one. See, for value, I put parent.default. So you'll notice by default, all the controls just in any form that you have are going to have their default be parent.default. So I just need to go do that. So it was called default. Let me see if I can move your face because all these controls are showing behind you. Let me see. Y-axis. There's nothing important ever going to be in that spot in Power Apps. There, I moved Joelle. Okay, so now you can see value is the property that I selected, and then I need to put that parent.default so that when I am opening an existing form, it will say the right information there. So those are just, and again, they're all slightly different for different types of controls. So those are all the manual steps you have to go through to be able to switch one of these controls to be the new modern one. So when in doubt, always just leave that old one still sitting there, just in case you need to reference it, and just do all the work to get the new one functioning. And then just don't delete the old one in case you're kind of missing something important. Just test it and make sure you can submit forms and open forms before you delete the old control. So that's the process of switching one of these out. So let's look at a few cool things that you can do with these. I'm going to go back to my form that I was working on here. So this is a list of projects. Now, a couple of power hours ago, it could have been a couple of months ago, we did a power hour that showed how to create a tabbed interface at the top of a gallery. And what I did was I had created buttons and I had them going across the top. And when you clicked a button, it filtered the gallery. So we actually have a new control now. This modern control is called a tab list. Awesome, right? So it's down here just in the list of controls, and it's just called tab list down here. So I inserted a tab list. So the key is to tell it, the items property is going to tell it what the words need to say in it. So what I did was, instead of just typing a bunch of words, I decided that I wanted this list of tabs to always say all the different project statuses. So where did I get this information? I went to my form, and I'll just go click on one. And I went to my, let me go to the other form that I just created here, because I had taken the project status off of it. I went to my project status just out of the box to go look at what this has for the items property. So anytime you see an items property in Power Apps, that means that that's a list of stuff. So in this case, the list of stuff is referring to, in SharePoint, this project status, what are the choices in SharePoint? So it's referring to the choice box that you created in your SharePoint list in the list settings, and it's looking at what choices you have there. So this is always going to stay up to date, even if you go to SharePoint and you change what the list of project statuses are. Maybe you have a new project status, then this will always be live information. So instead of just typing the names of a bunch of statuses, I just decided to refer to this exact same piece of data. So it says choices, projects, dot, and it's got project status. So I'm just copying this choices thing over to my tab list. So I go to my tab list and see, for the items property, I just pasted that same list of choices. Now, if I wanted to have just put my own list of choices, there are a couple of different ways you can do that. I'll just comment that one out. And then I'll show you how I got it to filter the gallery that way too. Oops, let's see. So just the simple way to create a list of choices is to put them just in quotes like this with square brackets. All right, so now you can see my choices say 1, 2, 3, and I had set a default to always say, I'd set it to active, so it's still got the word active in there. So 1, 2, 3, and then you could also do that table structure that Power Apps has, where it needs to have the curly brackets, and you can have like the names of your columns. And so it's just any kind of structure of a table is what it's going to look for your items property. I'm not going to spend too much time building that out. Okay, I'll take my comment out. Okay, and then let's go take a look at the other settings that it has. It has an accessibility label. It has a size, so you can go small, medium, large. And I think I had mine on large, so it's like taking a second to render that. And let's see. Do y'all like that? Isn't that cool? Y'all are talking about AI. Oh, I know, it's so cool. It's scary though. Like they start talking about on the news about, AI taking over the world or something, humankind. So it's kind of scary. Okay, so what has it got in the advanced properties for this list of items? It's got the render size, alignment. It doesn't have an option to change the color. So that little blue line, yeah, I thought that was a little weird that you can't change the color of that. And then default selected items. So what I did here is I used this little, it wouldn't let me just put active in quotes. I want the active status to be the default. So I use this little curly bracket. So I use that little curly bracket value colon, and then active in quotes, close curly bracket. So that's how I get it to always, when you first open the app, active. Like it's got a little yellow flashing light on in my vMix that makes it look like I'm not streaming anymore. You all let me know.
Yeah, it's cutting up a little bit, and I checked,
okay.
But the YouTube seemed okay. I don't know. You guys let us know if not.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay, so that's how I get it to show active. So then watch this. When I am in this list and I click the different tabs, it's filtering the list by, by whatever I click on. And I like the way it's got the little hover, little lines under whatever I click on. So the way that works is on my items property. Again, this is going to take a second. It's kind of slow today. It's going to take a second to render. Maybe in my Power App, when I click around in it, it's like doing something with the bandwidth.
Yeah, it looks like they are having buffering issues.
I've got this really fast internet that doesn't show it's having any problems.
Maybe it's Power Apps.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think anybody else is even here, so I don't think anybody's messing with my internet. I don't know what I'm going to do, though. Gotta love this. Like, we sit here and we prepare for 15 minutes and we say, okay, everything's okay. It's going smoothly. All right, let's go. And then the technical issues. Always after we go live. Okay.
Always.
It looks like it's okay now. Okay, so I go to my items property and I'm just filtering it by, I'm filtering my list of projects where the project status.value is that tab list control .selected.value. So it's taking whatever I click on and it's filtering that list of projects by that project status. So that is a very, very simple filter, but that's all. All right. Okay, I think it's working now. Okay, we're streaming. Y'all respond. Hi. I can't believe this is happening. Like, it's like every other week. I have this extremely fast internet and a brand new, really fast router. And so it's not being recorded separately. That's the problem. It just automatically records itself when I stream live on YouTube. So the recording would probably be choppy. Oh, there you are. I can see you now, Joelle. Okay. I'm going to keep moving on. I'm on the other internet, so all right. Okay, so another cool control to talk about is, I'll go back to the form, is that little information button. So I've got here, and there is my progress bar. So the progress bar is sort of similar to the slider, where it needs to have two different numbers. So it's going to have, you could just type numbers in there, but what I did was, just for fun, I referenced the hours used versus hours planned. record this separately because it's acting up. I don't know what to do.
It still seems smooth to me.
Oh, okay.
Are you
They
seeing
said
yellow?
it's worse. Yeah, I can imagine that it would be worse because I switched to my worst internet
Yeah, I think you have to
connection.
remember they're probably delayed too.
Yeah.
They might be on a delay. Because you did go offline for a second when
Yeah.
you switched, but ever since
Yeah.
you came back, it's been smooth.
Functionality in it. But spinner is if you want to purposefully have a little spinner going on just in front of your screen, then you can just create your own little spinner and tell it kind of what you want it to look like. So I just added a spinner here. So you can have a label for your spinner, spinning. And then that's what it'll say next to the spinner. And then it's got a couple of settings like appearance primary versus inverted. Yeah. Maybe I'll re-record it, but I pretty much covered what they all look like, at least at the very, very beginning. But
yeah, it's buffering again anyway, so
yeah.
you might want to
Okay.
just re-record it later.
Well, that's about it.
It was smooth, and then it started buffering.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks. I figured.